Hi YouTubers, my name is Kevin and you're watching The Royal We. In this message I want to talk with you about the ways in which toxic abusive narcissists hijack your very important decision-making skills when it comes to dealing with relationships. Now, how many of you have found yourself in this place where you just want the toxic person to be honest with you? You're waiting for them to tell you that they don't like you anymore, that they found somebody else and they've moved on. Or if it's your family, you're waiting for them to tell you that they've never liked you as much as your brother Billy and your sister Sally, and that they've always gossiped about you, and they don't believe in anything that you can do or can accomplish or can achieve. You're waiting for them to clarify what you already know. Why? So that you can feel better and confident in your decision to walk away. Now, what you don't realize about this position that you're in is that you've become a slave to the toxic, abusive people. You've become imprisoned to them by waiting for them to clarify for you that it's okay to walk away. Now, I've been there too, and that's why this is going to be a passionate, heartfelt message from me. We're going to talk about how this happens, because some of you right now might be saying, Kevin, I'm a very confident person. I've always made my own decisions. How in the world did they hijack my decision-making skills, right? I know. I've been there too. So we're going to talk about that in this video. We're also going to talk about the solution and what you have to start doing right now in order to break free of these chains so you can move on. If this sounds like something you want to hear, hit the like button right now and we will continue. Okay, so first of all, like I said, I've been in that very same spot. So I understand this place where you are waiting for the toxic people to clarify what it is they mean, how they truly feel about you, so that you can feel good about your decision to leave. But how did this happen? So for many of you, this is going to be a refresher course on some of the core aspects of narcissistic personality disorder. But if you're new to understanding narcissism, then this is going to be a great, helpful tool of a video for you. So in order to talk about how they hijack our decision-making skills, we need to understand three core characteristics of toxic narcissism. The first characteristic that we commonly understand and commonly associate with narcissism is the way in which they assert themselves in your life by using the relationship status as a platform to speak from. Kind of like their soapbox to climb up on top and talk down to you. What do I mean by this? Well, let's talk about family, for example. A lot of times toxic abusive people, narcissists and families, will use the family status as a platform to stand on, to speak over you, saying things like, you are a part of this family, you are blood, or if it's an in-law, it would be, you married into this family. Therefore, you have to put up with who we are. You have to put up with the name calling. This is how this family is. This is how we operate. All this stuff. This is called using the status of the relationship as a soapbox or as a platform. This could also be with intimate relationships. If you get intimate with somebody and you start having sex, you are in this relationship with me, therefore, and you get the best of me, therefore you have to put up with my bad stuff too. Right? I can only imagine all this stuff that takes place. So it's using the relationship status, once again, as a platform to assert themselves and bully you. What's basically going on is they're saying, you have no decision in this matter whatsoever. And if you hear this enough times, if you hear this enough, things like, you married into this family, you're a part of this family, you are blood, you're this, you have to put up with my bad side, blah, blah, blah. Over time, it diminishes your decision-making skills. So that's the first tactic that diminishes your decision-making ability over time, right? Just the sheer assertiveness. Now, the next tactic is a common known tactic that toxic, narcissistically abusive people use, and it's called gaslighting. Gaslighting is very dangerous when it comes to you being able to hold on to your decision-making skills. It's a very good weapon used against your decision-making skills, I should say. Gaslighting, for those of you who don't know, I'll summarize it. It's basically taking your concerns and turning it into your issue. So gaslighting is causing your concerns to become your issue. Let me give you an example. If a toxic, abusive narcissist is ridiculing you, criticizing you, putting you down with just an extreme amount of hate, which they are very, very capable of doing because they're very insensitive. They lack compassion and empathy. So their criticisms can be very harsh. And when you call it out, they will typically shrug it off as a joke, but they won't just end it there. Like, I was just kidding. No. That's not it. It's, I was just kidding. You're too sensitive. I was just kidding. You can't take a joke. I was just kidding. Why do you get so butthurt? Right? This is called gaslighting because it's causing you to look at yourself going, is there something, maybe there is something wrong with me, right? This is gaslighting. It's not uncommon to hear toxic, abusive narcissists in your life to tell you that the issues, your hurt and your frustration is because of the war inside of your head. You have imaginary war going on, right? Maybe you've heard the toxic narcissist say, I'll pray for you and your self-pity. I'll be sure to pray for you. I'm not sure what's wrong with you, right? This is what they do when you confront them on their bad behavior. What this does is it takes your decision-making skills because you've decided that's not right, it's wrong. You shouldn't be talking to me like that. I've made that decision. They're taking that and they're saying, that's a bad decision. That's the wrong decision. You need to check yourself, right? So again, over time, this diminishes your decision-making skills. Again, that's called gaslighting. That's the second key component. Now, finally, the third component that's commonly known about toxic narcissistic personalities is their walk and their talk never match up. This causes significant amount of cognitive dissonance. It's also called crazy making in the narcissistic community. This is when they say things like, I love you, I care for you, I really do care for you, but then they turn around in a very bipolar way and they yell and scream and curse and shout, throw pots and pans at you, and then they turn around and say, I would never do anything to hurt you on purpose, but they're yelling and screaming and cussing and shouting and punching you. I'm reminded of poor Johnny Depp and what he's going through with that lady Amber Heard, right? Have you heard the recordings of them? When she pushes a door into his head and it's on the recording, Johnny's saying, you pushed the door into my head. And she said, I would never do anything to hurt you, Johnny. I would never do anything to hurt you. I don't remember that. And then he says, and then you stood up and you punched me. So you didn't mean to push the door into my head, but you punched me in the jaw. And then Amber Heard could be heard saying, yeah, I remember punching you. I remember punching you in the jaw. Yeah, I was angry. And then she goes right back into, I would never do anything to hurt you. I would never do anything to, it's just crazy. It's crazy making, right? So this is when your walk and talk are completely different. This causes a significant amount of cognitive dissonance in people who are full of compassion and love because we're starting to question, what in the world am I seeing? And they're also taking and diminishing your decision-making skills because your decision is, you should never be hitting me, no matter, unless you're fighting me off. But that's not the case. You're attacking me. You should never be doing that. It's uncalled for. That's your decision. But when they're telling you, I would never do anything to hurt you, it causes you to question your decision-making skills. So these three things are common with narcissistic personality disorder, that over time they strip your decision-making skills away and get you into this place where you're not confident in what it is you have decided. And this is why you're waiting for them to clarify, finally, for you. You just want them to say, yes, I meant to hit you. Yes, I want to destroy you. Yes, I'm full of hatred. Yes, but they're never going to. Because part of narcissistic disorder is that they have to uphold that they are perfect in all ways, no matter what they've done to you. That is what makes narcissism narcissism. So they will never admit that they wronged you, right? So what do we do about this? How do we start to resolve this issue? Starting right now, right at the moment of watching this video, we're going to implement this new strategy. It's going to be very uncomfortable for you. It's uncomfortable for me, but we're going to start to implement this right away. And what this is we are going to assert our decision making the moment we feel something is off in any relationship. We're going to make that decision and act on it. What do I mean by that? We're not going to become aggressive and abusive because we're not narcissistic and we don't do that stuff. We don't start calling people names and attacking people, right? That's not what we're about. And I would hope that none of you watching this would ever go that route. That's not what you do, right? But what we are going to do moving forward is we are going to be able to say, I find that rude and offensive, what you just said to me, and I want you to leave me alone. I want you to practice saying that with me. I want you to imagine somebody's speaking to you, you're uncomfortable, and I just want you to imagine saying, I'm uncomfortable with this conversation. I want you to leave me alone. Don't say anything else. Don't explain it. Don't try to break down your reason for it, which is typical of empaths and if you're Christian. This goes against the narrative that we've been given. But this is practicing your decision-making skills. And you're not being abusive, but you will hurt people. Right? If somebody is really joking with you, but they say something offensive, and maybe they really are joking, and maybe they're not a narcissist. But it doesn't matter, because what you're practicing is your ability to right then and there say, not going there, I don't appreciate that, you need to leave me alone right now. And they could say, well, I was just kidding, leave me alone. Thank you. And walk away. Is it cold? Is it harsh? Yes. Is it abusive? No. And that's the difference. We need to understand that sometimes making decisions for ourselves, for our own health, can come across as being cold and harsh. Is it abusive? No. Not at all. Abuse is when you start attacking the person. We're not doing that. All right? So this is going to be uncomfortable, especially for a lot of you Christians, a lot of you empaths. It's going to be very uncomfortable, but this is what we have to start doing right now. And then in time, we can loosen up a bit. If you feel comfortable and confident in your decision-making skills, then you can become a little bit looser and you can pass a few jokes off if somebody's joking with you, right? Say, I get it. Because you're confident in yourself and you're confident that if things cross a certain line, then you can say, out. We don't do that. But for right now, it's got to be done now. And this also applies to toxic people you're dealing with and narcissists. Start right now taking ownership of your decisions. Say, don't call me anymore. Don't write me anymore. If they message you on social media, say, stop it. Leave me alone. No explanation. Just leave me alone. This is the coldness and the harshness that you need to meet abusive people with. That's it. Now listen, I want to be a part of your healing journey through this. So I encourage you to visit www.jointheroyalwe.com. There you can schedule a one-on-one appointment with me. We can do FaceTime for you Apple and iPhone users, or we can do a telephone consultation. We can even do an email consultation. You can find out all about this at www.jointheroyalwe.com. The link is down in the description box right below this video. Also, join me every Monday night for Royal We Live Chat. This is an opportunity to come together as a community. You can ask questions on the chat board. You can call in and talk for free, so long as you understand that the call is live, okay? Also, Saturday mornings, which is tomorrow morning, is Royal We Fellowship. This is an in-depth study of the ancient literature of the Bible. It's a Bible study from the perspective of understanding this world of toxicity and narcissistic abuse. I guarantee you it's unlike any Bible study that you've been a part of. You can find out all about this and more down below in the description box, so go down there and check everything out. You can follow me on Instagram and on Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos right here on the Royal We.